Welcome to the Why Music podcast, where we talk to independent artists about their journeys, the inspirations behind their music, and ultimately why they make music. This next act is a singer-songwriter duo with an indie pop flavor, bringing in the heartwarming sentiment of folk melodies with their friendship-based collaboration. Their music will bring you a new sense of connection. Welcome, Axel and Lolo.
Woo! Hello.
What an introduction.
What an introduction. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I always like to start with, and I think this one will kind of have to just go to both of you individually, at least to start. Where did your music journey all start?
I'll go first.
Yeah. I'm Puerto Rican, so I've always grown up just with rhythm and percussion and bomba, and yeah, so I've always been around art and all that, and then high school and middle school and theater developed it, and so now I'm a fusion of all those things. Yeah.
Love. I had a theater mom, so that was like where I first was exposed to music. We watched tons of musicals growing up, and my mom's like a pianist and singer, so she was the one who kind of exposed me to it. But funny enough, I didn't study music at all. Throughout high school, I focused on dance and sports and stuff instead. And I went to college at first to study English. I wasn't sure I was going to do this, but I transferred to Berkeley. Thank God, because that's where I met Axel. And then, because I'd been writing songs, of course, on my own. So that's what led me to Berkeley. But then once we got to Berkeley together, we started writing together, and it was just this beautiful blend of minds.
Yeah.
And we've just been having fun ever since. Yeah.
Yay.
So was it like a class that brought you two together, or how was it that you two crossed paths and let alone ended up writing together?
We were in the same floor.
Yeah, same dorm floor.
Yeah, and we met, and we just started hanging out more because we, I mean,
two doors down.
Before we were musicians together, we were we just loved each other as people, and then we wrote. Then we just wanted to write together, and so we went to the stairwell, and we started writing our first song, and it was so fun and so
It was. I don't know, it felt easier than a lot of the other times I'd written alone. Or it just, I don't know, it felt right, it felt fun, magical even.
And then we recorded a trio thing with one of our friends, and when we were listening back, we realized we couldn't tell who was doing the high harmony and who was doing the lower harmony. We were like, what?
We were mistaking each other's voices for our own. And we were like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So that especially led us to start singing more together.
Yeah.
So.
And we're like, oh,
yeah. Cool discovery.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So at what point in sort of writing together and, messing around with all of that and trying to find your own voices in each other's, did you kind of decide that you guys wanted to put together an artist project and start releasing music together?
It definitely happened once the Tiny Desk competition kind of came around. Axel was when we found out about it first, and it was originally you really wanted to do it.
I originally wanted to do a solo thing, and then but months
for the submission.
But months prior we had written You Like Me More, and it was just sitting there, and we were like, oh my god, wait, why don't we just do this? And then we were like, oh, and Axel Lolo is a cool name.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do it. And
once we started rehearsing for that video, it just was so much fun. We were like, oh, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And also You Like Me More is such a special song, and we had so much fun writing that one. And so by the time we filmed the Tiny Desk video, that's what led us to finally finish producing the song, and then from there it was just tons of more writing and singing together.
Yeah,
because we love.
I mean, gotta chase the dopamine rush on that one. If that's where you're having the fun, that's what you gotta keep doing.
It is, and that's art should be.
Yeah,
it should be fun.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Filling. Yeah, exactly.
Um, in terms of like the writing process and sort of how that kind of comes together, being that it's always a collaborative effort, where do you guys find a lot of like the inspiration for your songs, and how does that sort of process go along? Like, take me through how that all goes working with the two of you.
I mean, like, classic songwriter answer would be, it's different every time. But like, I think for us, it really helps that we spend so much time together.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, like, we'll just be hanging out as we do, like, every day.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, we'll say something, we'll go, oh, that's a fun lyric idea. Or, oh my God, we should write a song about that. Or like, like we're usually together when we're seeing the inspiration around us.
Specifically, we've been loving like the vibes of like Cartoon Network shows and like that song style, like Adventure Time and like Steven Universe, and like
Axel put me on to Steven Universe and honestly cartoons in general more than I had been watching them previously. So like, it was just started as a thing where we would watch it together, and then naturally that became somewhere we pulled from, you know, for lyrics. Yeah, and then also just like in our own hobbies, like when we're drawing or something.
Yeah.
When we draw pictures, that inspires us, you know, when we hang out with our friends, it inspires us. I don't know, you know, when we go to class together sometimes and like.
Yeah. And honestly, it's so different every time.
It is.
For example, like Happy to Say It Again, like I remember I heard like a line from a song that I thought was one thing, and then like it wasn't that same lyric.
It was like misremembering the line.
Yeah, and so I said it wrong, and I was like, "Oh wait, but this would be a cool subject for a song." And I'm wrong again. Everything I've said before has all been said.
Yeah.
And then we did it.
That one was fun to write.
Yeah.
Do you find any common themes within like what you write about, or how like certain things that are very much just like you guys isms, if you will?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we write a lot about like friendship, of course, and like the power of love and friendship.
Yeah.
And then also just a lot about, I don't know, feeling secure in a big scary world. And
a lot about like trying, because with every song we're trying to release a good message for somebody to hear and feel a little bit better about their day.
Yeah.
So
I think recently it's been a lot about like rediscovering joy. And stuff. Like we have a song about a wizard that isn't out yet, but we've teased a little bit on TikTok, and like the whole song is about like this wizard rediscovering like gratitude and happiness like, for the world around. So sometimes it's a lot of it is stuff like that. Like, and we love to like lean into like the childlike perspective on things for sure. Because I don't know, when you're a kid, you have so much wonder for the world. So I think we like to like think from that POV a lot when we write.
Yeah. And when you're a kid, you're not worried about all these things that we're all worried about.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's a much simpler time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The wizard definitely kind of is along the vibe of that Cartoon Network reference, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's very much in that realm of things. And I feel like the childlike thing as well, being Cartoon Network.
For sure.
But that's interesting. No, that's cool. I mean, it sounds like you guys like have like, it's like one of those like things where it's all along the same lines, but it's also like shaped in so many different ways. And it's always interesting how those things kind of manifest themselves, and just kind of are like, even if you didn't know you were writing about this thing, you're still kind of writing about this thing. You know?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Cause like you want every song to be a different experience for the listener. But it is cool when, I don't know, it's a little cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, it's us.
Yeah.
So it's like all,
Yeah.
If you had to create a new genre around your style of music, what would you call it?
That's a good question. What did we say?
Wonder, like Wonder something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pixie Hollow Pop, but that's probably
yeah,
copyrighted.
That's because
we watched like a Tinkerbell when we made Happy to Say It Again. We had been watching Tinkerbell that week, and so like there's a couple elements in there where we're like, oh, we want it to sound like a fairy, and then we started calling it a Pixie Hollow Pop song.
Yeah,
so I wonder if maybe that would be cool.
Yeah, but it's just that song that's like that.
It's just that one. So yeah, Wonder
something.
Yes. Okay, that's cool. I like it.
Okay. All right. There we go.
We're giving you options.
Yeah. A, B, C.
Yeah.
Depends on the day. Depends on what the vibe is, you know?
It really does.
You can sort them into different categories and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a release that you think best embodies who you are as an artist? Your one song sample, if you will.
Let's try.
Probably Let's Try.
I think our most recent called Let's Try.
I hold life in my hands when I'm with you. So you have to understand why it's been so hard. But it's not fair to keep it's not fair to assume you can handle
It's just so like all our other songs are real, but that one is just so real and so like purely after talking about like a situation. We just started writing and the production is also so us in the sense of like it's pretty, but it's also like a little dirty and mushy and not pretty, but like real. Yeah.
Oh, well said. Yeah, that song is very special to us.
In terms of, like you said, like it's very you in terms of the production, are there any elements that you find that you guys are like consistently putting into songs, like track after track, that just kind of, whether it's intentional or not, just it's always there?
Yeah, for sure. Like always double to triple vocals and then like 50 layers of harmonies.
Yeah.
Like, our songs are honestly built on like a bed of vocals pretty much. And then the other thing that I would say is consistent is almost always there's like there's a layer of acoustic guitar that is like recorded in our bathroom, us using like cheat chords, like kind of like an imperfect guitar track is pretty much always present. And I think that like really has like become a part of our like of our like sonic sound. I don't know, our sonic space, if you will.
Our producer was talking about how we like our recording sessions are different than what he normally does because like we are so vocal based. So we kind of have to go like vocals big and then base the rest of the production off of how the tones of all that is. Samuel Oldham. If you want to know his name.
Shout out Sam.
our kid.
He's awesome.
That's interesting. I mean, I am from the musician perspective, like I'm a singer last, and so like to hear it that you guys are like, it's like 90% vocals and then we fill in the space. It's like that's so backwards in my head. It's like that is the last thing that I'm worried about is what vocals are going where.
That's why, because also like our songs are like so in terms of chords they're so simple Like they're like we usually do a loop, and then so our melodies are what keep the song interesting.
Totally.
And yeah.
Interesting. If you had to pick 2 or 3 artists that you think your music is like a combination of, who would it be?
Okay. Well, we have like the classics that we say for like who we pull inspo from. It's always like Faye Webster, Remy Wolf, Julia Jacqueline, Olivia Barton. So like I'm sure naturally you can hear a little bit of that in it because we just listen to them a lot. But honestly,
but I think
like
Adventure Time.
I was gonna say recently, like Adventure Time and like Fiona and Cake, like cartoon shows.
Yeah.
Have also like those scores and those soundtracks influence us a lot.
But honestly, everything, because
everything.
I don't know. Like we both have like Lauren has like country influences for when she was little, and I have like I don't know like Latino influences from when I was little, and so it's very that's why it's so beautiful working with her, because it's both of our
it really is.
It's a mesh of beautiful little cultures.
Yeah.
I think country and Latino would make a very interesting combination.
Imagine those are the only 2 things. Yeah.
Go all the way back to your roots and then just combine those 2 and see.
Hey, we'd make something good.
Yeah.
What is an outside passion of yours that you feel impacts who you are as an artist? This can be a joint answer. This can be an individual answer. I don't know what the world is like over there.
Yeah.
For me, definitely like theater. I think theater is like I did theater my whole life, and I think the drama of it and the spoken words in songs, like like in a song.
Yeah.
I think that like helps. Yeah. And
honestly, in my own way, I would say the same thing, because like I said, I wasn't a theater kid, but I had a theater mom. And so we watched tons of like musicals growing up. So those were the first songs I learned to sing, were like Grease, Sound of Music, Sing in the Rain, like those kind of things. So there definitely is a lot of theater influence between the 2 of us. And then I would also say like just different mediums of art in general, like whether it's drawing or like I grew up as a dancer, so I'm sure that influences in some way. So
that's also like I did a cappella a lot of my life, and I feel like that also really helped our blend and everything. So yeah.
How cool.
It could be a big part of how it's very vocal based.
Yeah.
Acapella, that's what you're living off of, and now it's like
that's
flavoring
it
with some instruments. So I started doing a thing a few episodes ago where I have last week's artist ask a question for next week's artist. So last week's artist's question was, and this will be, I'll go to each one of you. If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
This is so hard.
It's testing the knowledge of how well you know the album names.
I know the names. I just can't decide on one.
The answer would be different anytime you ask me this, I'm sure. But I think right now, I would say maybe Pre-Pleasure by Julia Jacqueline. Just because like that's in my recent history, what album did I listen to front to back, like literally every week? Like last year I did that.
Yeah.
Probably every week I listened to that. So maybe that one? I don't know.
I think an album that I always like since, I don't know, 2018 or 2019, I always come back to is Control by SZA. And I think that album is a freaking masterpiece.
Yeah.
And also definitely served as an influence for both of us also, because she is such a big person of using like loops, like 4-bar loops, and just like making the melody be the interesting part of the piece,
Yeah.
and like her vocal melody.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's so good. And
That album's
yeah.
like timeless.
Yeah, and
I
the
don't think
lyrics
it'll
are
ever-
amazing. Like Gogina, she says picking up a penny with a press on is easier than holding you down. Like
Yeah.
that's so good. So good.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No,
So
yeah, I
good.
mean that that is a top tier album for sure. She got a lot of praise for that one, and it was definitely justified. Um,
Yeah.
Mhm.
what would you like to ask for the next week?
Something beautiful.
This is harder than answering the questions.
This is much harder.
What's the
Um,
thing you've ever written about?
I like that.
Okay.
Say it.
What's the most beautiful thing you've ever written about?
Oh, okay.
Lyric based question. Love
True.
it.
Yeah.
You're
So
showing your true colors.
You really are.
Okay.
Ask
Oh.
me your true.
What is it that you think sets you apart from other independent artists?
I think we're promoting friendship,
Yeah.
and
I was gonna
Yeah.
say the fact that like our relationship is at the core of like all of our musics in one way or another. So I think like our togetherness maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there with Lauren, there's such security in our relationship, and I feel like that reflects in our lyrics, and I feel like that can bring some sort of coziness to people, which would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's very often that you see like friendship duos in this kind of capacity. You know, it's you get your duos that are more of like other nature and just like not like truly in a like it's the two of you, your besties kind of way.
Yeah.
Especially in
Living the
something that
dream.
was just
Yeah.
kind of formed naturally too, you know. It's just
Yeah.
y'all just happen to be
Started fun.
neighbors and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like look at that.
Crazy.
So amazing.
No, and I think that's like in itself is a really cool just thing. Like it's you don't have to it's not like you know, like even like the you know, the Macklemore Ryan Lewis kind of thing where it's like somebody's essentially the front man, the other person's just kind of like working the rest of it. It's like it's very much like the two of you at this same level and that like consistent collaboration, and it's a really cool thing to see because like I said, you don't get it very often. And like I'm like screw the love songs, let's talk about friendship, you know, like let's have fun with that, you know.
Yeah. Friendship is that's another reason why like we're I think we're a little bit different because this like friendship is such an important thing in life. I'm glad
people don't write about it as much
No.
as they should.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think it's more complex than a lot of other relationships in some ways. So it's tricky to write about, but it's fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like you think about it. It's like, you know, you have your family relationships and those take different shapes because every family's differently sort of organized or whatever. But, and like, you know, your typical relationships, like relationships are, you know, there are sort of expectations, guidelines, if you will, like, you know what you're agreeing to. But friendships, it's like, you could have 10 friends and each of those relationships would look so differently because of the roles that you play in each other's lives. And it's like, it's so underrated. Like we need to give it more attention.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
This is important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If not more.
It's the most.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that.
Not than family, but
Not the family, but you know what I mean.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean.
What impact do you ultimately want to have with your music and with your artistry?
I think we kind of answered this earlier with like the themes we read about, but I think we really like want to encourage people to find joy and like
and be nice and be kind.
to be kind and to be kind to yourself and the world around you.
And also like accepting that you're like at the end of the day you are an imperfect being, and like it's okay.
Yeah.
Basically we want our songs to be a little hug to somebody.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really well said. That's a very good way to put it, because it's like you know exactly what that means. You know exactly what that is all about. I love that. Oh, you guys are so wholesome.
You're
great.
You're wholesome.
You're wholesome.
I think that brings us to the last question, which is ultimately the concept behind the podcast, which is why music?
Music for me, it is music because it just feels so like intrinsic to our human experience. It's like something, I don't know, music is a part of everyone's life in one way or another, and so I think it's just the greatest way to like communicate feelings and ideas with the people around you.
I think whether I like it or not, music is always going to be a part of me. And I think I am music. It's so ingrained in my being. I am music. Music, because music is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And also, because music has helped me so much throughout my life. I want to do the same with my music, with our music.
You touched on my favorite comment answer, which is essentially passing the torch. Because it's like, you know, we do this for the reason of this thing has had such an impact on us as individuals, us as just people in general. And it's like, you know, you just want to do that same thing with what you're doing. If you're given the ability to create the thing that made such a difference for you as an individual, you're going to take that, you're going to run with it, and you're going to try and essentially just pass the torch and do that same thing. And it's really cool, like, to be able to essentially, like, not necessarily like on a level standpoint automatically, but like view ourselves in the same shoes of those that came before us, and those that are, you know, the reason that we're doing what we're doing, and those that have influenced us. Whether we reach the level of those names, TBD. But, you know, the same, being able to have that sort of impact, even to just like a person or two, is all the difference, you know?
Music is so cool. Wow.
And these days, like you see like 300 streams or like 300 listeners, and you're like, oh, that's so little. But I don't know, if those people were all in a room,
that's
cool. That's so cool.
Anyone at all listening to a song you've written is like such a special thing.
It's so easy to look at numbers and be like, but like your input, that's totally cool.
So cool.
No, especially with like this year's Spotify Wrapped, where they did the like, you're a top 10 artist for these people and top 5, and it's like, you're trying to tell me that there were people that listen to my music enough to be that, like, I'm on their list? Really? That's
so
nuts.
Cool.
You know, like, that's crazy.
So cool.
That's
connection
crazy.
it brings. So
yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, you can create cool shit in any kind of way, but music, that's where that like real sort of connection happens.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode of the Why Music podcast. Check back again next week for another conversation with another independent artist. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.